inquiries, press 2. And to listen to the... Please note, we cannot discuss
Rossendales.
cases with any third-party caller unless signed authority is held in the office or the named debtor is present to confirm authority to speak on their behalf. If you have received a hand-delivered letter from a bailiff, you must contact the bailiff on the mobile number provided on the letter and not the office. Please note, all calls are recorded for training and security purposes. Please input our case reference number followed by the hash key. Our case reference number is located at the top of all our correspondence. If you do not have your case reference number, please hold. Good afternoon, Mr. Can I take the hour reference number, please?
Hello, it's 287 12
Yep.
529.
Okay, just let you know. Firstly, then all calls are recorded for training and compliance purposes. For security, can you please confirm for me your full name, first line, the address and postcode, please?
Well, it isn't me, I'm speaking on behalf of a client. There is a authorization password there, which is New York.
Oh yeah, Mr. Russell Burton.
Speaking.
Yeah, I was just speaking to you a moment ago. So
Yeah, I know.
how can I help you?
I need your I need this website address.
Which way? As in our website?
As in whom I'm going to record this complaint with at Lowell's. Yeah, got.
Oh, you mean the email address? Because
Yeah.
before I mentioned to you, you can do the complaint to the email address, but then you went off the phone and you terminated the call.
Yeah, I just got extremely annoyed at your attitude.
Yeah, no, I
to be
got that.
honest.
I got just don't worry about it.
I don't know. It's threatening people. I mean, it's just beyond.
So you, let me just get you. You want the email address for the complaint, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah. So it's just let me just double check. Actually, it's complaints at Rossendales.
Complaints
At Rossendales.
at rossendales.com. What was your name, sorry?
It's Mr. So M-I-S for Sierra.
Yes.
B for Bravo.
Yep.
Hotel.
Say again, sorry.
Alpha Hotel, sorry, at the end.
Oh, what was the name, sorry?
Mr.
Mr.
Exactly how it's spelled. No. It's a B for Bravo, so it's Mr.
Right, okay. Mr.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So so you're claiming you have the authority then to refer this man to prison?
No, to recommend to the council. Basically, what it says in the letter, yes, we do have authority to do that.
So this is a generic letter that you send out, yeah?
Yeah.
And how many
Obviously, so if you want to sort of discuss the wording in that complaint, you can just flag up all your the issues you have with the wording on that letter. Obviously, when they see that, they can then get back to you, because we don't send out the letters here in the contact centre. They are sent out by the admin team, so I'm sure they know what they're doing when they're sending out the letters. If there is anything that you feel like we shouldn't be able to say in the letter, by all means, flag it up.
Well, I mean, there is things that you shouldn't be. Shouldn't be.
You mentioned it.
Do you know when you go to a door, you don't tell the client either, do you, that you've got no power of entry? You don't say that to them, do you? You leave bits out, don't you, and let the client's mind do the work for them.
When part of it's an enforcement agent goes out, I'd have to bring up all the rules and
Well, I do. I know the rules. You don't have power. You don't have power of entry over civil debt.
Okay, so I can't comment on that then. No, I know that they have. They can make legal access if it was in a peaceful manner. So if they let them in, they can walk in.
That's called peaceful entry. Yes.
Break in. Yeah, no one can break in. No.
Well, why would these people pay your fees then if you can't if you can't do anything to them?
Why would anyone ever break in anyway?
Well, I mean, that's what. That's
why
why.
would anyone pay fees? Fees are added when one's not set up an arrangement to make. It's an enforcement company, so if they're going to make their payments on time, they'd make it to the council.
I know, but how do you have any?
Council had to send it out to an enforcement company. Technically means that for whatever reason they're not receiving the payments that they should do, and they
I get that, but why do you call yourself an enforcement agency when you can't enforce it?
Well, it can be enforced.
How?
By a peaceful entry.
So you're telling me the only way that you can enforce something is if somebody allows you to enforce it and allows you entry.
I'm talking about the entry to the property.
Yeah. Although, well, I mean, unless you've got entry to the property, you're null and void as an enforcement agency. If they just say to you,
I
go.
think the best way to get to the bottom of this would be if you list all your sort of queries with the wording on the letter and how we process.
Yeah, well,
You will get a proper response. There's no point in me telling you, bits of how the enforcement agent will proceed if they have to come out.
Well,
you need proper detail.
The enforcement
the only way you're going to get that is if it is in writing. So the best way to do it would be do it.
The enforcement agent was Mr. Whip, and I told him last week exactly how this would proceed, and it would go back to the council because Mr. Whip was getting no joy because the client was made aware of his rights regarding Mr. Whip's entry. Now, he's made a decision because he can't afford to pay your stage 1, your stage 2, or your stage 3. Now, I've told him that why would he pay you if you don't have the right to enforce that debt? I mean, you say you've got the right, but you haven't got the ability to enforce it. I mean, that's a bit like a toothless lion.
So, I mean, there's no point us, discussing this anymore. I can see from, the previous call that we just had that you're frustrated about what...
I am frustrated because these people are ill. Some of these people are ill and vulnerable. And
you know what you mentioned about him being ill previously as well? I'm surprised it's not been flagged up before. We always flag up all
because he's only just gone back on the medication because of the threats.
We've got to be made aware of the situation before, and then cases, all enforcement agents are trained to deal with vulnerable adults, so if we're made aware of it, they do know how to deal with
You say that, but I've been around this now for. I told you, I've taken millions of pounds from this civil debt enforcement idea that you can enforce it.
Because council tax being a legal obligation, people having to.
Yeah, but your debts are not a legal obligation. I know council tax is a legal obligation. Now, the gentleman was in debt.
If he's not paying the council tax either, then fees are applied legally.
Legally, but they're not enforced.
The guidelines from 2014.
I know the guidelines, but you can't enforce them. But you can't enforce them. You can't enforce them.
But they are applied legally, sir. And we can enforce them. I think your sort of definition of enforcing and the actual enforcing procedure from our side obviously is, but that's why I say if you put it in writing you will get more clarification as to exactly what the rights are.
I'm not asking for clarification of what your laws are or what your because I know them. I'm just annoyed. Because you haven't been able to enforce your charges. I'm annoyed that you feel it's fine and moral as a company then to make this gentleman and his family and his children feel even more threatened in his life by implying in your letters that you were going to send him to jail when he has because he was terrified when he rung me. He was absolutely terrified. He thought he was going to jail. Absolutely stricken by himself, and you guys are causing, and that's why I got angry with you, because you guys are causing that mental distress in people by implying that you had some right just because you couldn't enforce. Now it felt a little bit issy and it felt a little bit vindictive that you would do that to the man just because you couldn't enforce your debt.
It's coming across to me. It sounds a bit like you think it was specific to this client customer.
No, it's not specific to this customer. You do it to thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the country.
If you think there's something wrong with the actual procedure, I can't really help you there. It does need to be in writing.
You don't think there's something wrong with the procedure when you can't enforce something?
I think personally there's something wrong with it. It's not going to make a difference. It's just.
Well, it does make a difference, does it? Because it didn't make a difference to me years and years ago when you were. I lost my business, and you made and companies like you made my life a living hell. You took everything off me. I couldn't even.
So you're making this, a little bit personal.
No, but because you just made it personal. You just said you just made it personal by talking in that manner. But forget that. What you're doing is.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to leave it like this. But what you're doing is morally wrong to these people, and I know you've got a living to earn, and I know you've got, whatever. But surely you can find a better way of keeping your electricity on than making families feel threatened in this country. Surely you can do that. Surely. I don't know how you get to go home and feel moral about it, because it's not moral. But I'm going to leave it with you. I'm not going to shout at you again. I apologise for losing my rag with you last time, but I don't think what you do is moral whatsoever to your fellow man.
Okay, so like I said, if you just put it in writing and get it sent in, that's the only way you're actually going to get all of your questions answered.
Well, I'm not going to get any questions, and you're as a company is going to continue going down this snake pit of moral decadence that you're in. I know I'm not going to get any answers from you, and I know the council's just going to continue with this little charade. But what I'm going to do is continue doing what I do. As I said, I have hundreds of thousands of views on this. This is going out to thousands of people, and the people are going to be made aware of their rights. You shouldn't be doing this to people. You shouldn't be doing it. The politicians are ripping them off. Everybody's ripping them off, even people like you. And it's not right. It's not right. I'll leave it with you. To have a great day. Have a think about yourself.
Just before you go, you know how you've got the 2 pre-committal ones? He's actually got a new one that's at compliance stage. So that one it's only come through 4 days ago. So I think it is something you should be taking up with Leeds City Council, because if you feel like...
Well, you won't be getting your charges from that either. You won't be getting your charges from that.
If you think that he should just be paying it directly to Leeds City Council, then he needs to be paying it. Otherwise, it'll keep coming through to enforcement companies.
I'll be honest with you. Yes, when it goes back to the council, he has then an obligation to pay what.
Really be stopping it coming to us. And now this is a 3rd one that's come through. It's only come through 4 days ago, so he might not yet know about it.
It's 5 children, my love. It's 5 children. He didn't wreck the economy. He didn't wreck the jobs market. He didn't create 0 hours contracts.
I know what you're saying.
That's not his. That's
really the point here, is it?
Well, it is, my love, because I lost my job, and the council tax ones decided to persecute me because what? Because they didn't get my claim. And then you're adding more fees that makes the gentleman's life even harder and harder. And then he's nowhere to turn except to people like me.
And you say he's your client. What's your position? What are you working for? Like an advice company? How does it work? What's your position?
Yeah.
Are you related to the customer, Jason?
Well, I'm sorry.
How are you related to?
Jason is a.
Just for the notes,
Jason,
so I can put in here.
Well, I don't want you having my personal details. I'll tell you in a roundabout manner. Jason is a client, as many clients, whether that's with you as...
In what manner are you...
Well, as I say, I feel that you're a vindictive and spiteful company, so I wouldn't want you to have my details of my area of work. I mean, this is...
Okay, that's fine. If you don't want to provide it, that's totally fine, sir. But there isn't much else that I can do for you as well, because the point of us being here on the other side of the phone from Mr. Vater is to set you up into some sort of an arrangement that's affordable for him to pay. Now, we're not discussing that, so there isn't much else that I can do.
But you just want your fees.
He has got a letter that's been sent out quite recently, about 4 days ago, to him.
Okay.
So once he's got that, obviously, it's up to him how he proceeds. Whether he takes advice from yourself or actually gets in touch to set an arrangement like Leeds City Council have, put him in that situation by sending it to an enforcement company.
Yep.
But
Well, shall we settle it right?
You do want to argue, and, well, he still wants to argue with Leeds City Council as well. So
no, he doesn't want to argue with Leeds City Council. He wants to get into a negotiation with Leeds City Council. He's quite prepared to have his wages accrued. He's quite prepared to have someone, but he wants a decent and fair settlement of what he can afford. Now, he did offer you a settlement, and you didn't accept that settlement at first.
Our fees, if it's setting it with us, our fees aren't just going to be vanished. They're going to stand. But I can set arrangements that he can afford, but it's going to be with the fees on there.
Yeah, but he knows he doesn't have to pay your fees. That's the problem, isn't it?
He does while it's with us. Otherwise, it's going to carry on. The enforcement procedure will carry on. There will be, enforcement agents visiting, etc. You know the procedure because obviously it's happening.
Yes, I do. But you're going to send another enforcement. You're going to waste another enforcement officer, whatever you want to call yourselves. You're going to send him round to this house.
That is their job, sir.
Well, it's,
Or it's time's not being wasted. That is actually their job. But I'm
well,
not sure.
it's a waste of time if he's not going to be able to get the money, isn't it? I mean, it is a waste of time because you know that he's not going to get the money, so you know you may as well just send it back to the council. But you're not going to send it back to the council because this guy wants his commission, and this guy is prepared to do anything for commission. That's a deal here. I mean,
A lot of this just sounds like your opinion, which I told you.
but it's not.
You're entitled to your
It's not my opinion. It's not.
Well, a lot of what you've said is really you making it personal to the past that you've had with enforcement companies and then with this particular.
No, not at all. No, I said to you, you know, I'd had issues 10 years ago when I lost everything, and the way I was treated by companies like you made
me.
me.
How it's worked for. I'm not sure how long it's worked like this, but it is how it is right now. And like I said, if you've got an issue with that, then yeah, put it in writing, get it sent in to us, and then we'll respond.
But that's it.
You're
I don't.
Like,
it isn't an issue.
It shouldn't be allowed to be enforced this way.
But that's not. I mean, my issue isn't complaining to you because I know you're not going to do anything about it. My issue here is I'm just going to take the money off you. I'm going to make you lose your fees every time, thousands and thousands of times. I will make sure you'll go out of business in the civil debt area because they're just this information is just it's viral now. It's viral.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue with it until that because I don't believe that your enforcement are moral. It's not moral. It's not at all moral. But we've spoken enough. You have a great day. I'll file those complaints.
Thank you very much for your call.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.
I had to do another one, guys, because I absolutely lost my nugget with this woman before. And I don't like you seeing me losing my nugget, but I really did lose it big time. Have a great day, guys. Listen, you're in this area, and we're getting the next round of cuts coming up, guys. You're going to start needing to protect yourselves, and the only way that you can protect yourselves, guys, is to start picking up this information and passing it on. Look, in terms of council tax, these debt collection agents, bailiffs, whatever you want to call them, Berman is my preferred choice. They don't have power of entry into your, they only have peaceful entry powers, which means you have to let them in, folks. Don't let them in. Don't open the doors to them. Speak to them through the window, speak to them through the phone or the letterbox. Do not let them in. As you will see in the case of this one, it has to go back to the council. Now, these pissy ass mothers have now just sent a letter stating to my client that, well, they're going to refer him to prison. It scared the client, but the client is now fully aware. They don't have any powers to I mean, they're well above their remit here. But it's all in the wording. There's no wording there saying that he's going to go to prison. It's the using language to frighten him. And that's what they've done. They've been pissy and hissy-fitting because they've not been able to collect on their fees. Now we're going to go back to the council, guys. This is going to go back to the council, and we can negotiate something. I know there's you guys out there are saying, what's the name, out there in this odd sense of the laws that you keep just referring to. Look, if you willfully don't pay council tax, if you just willfully don't pay it, folks, you will go to prison. Because that's the only way you can go to prison for council tax, if you willfully refuse to pay. Now, we're going to negotiate now a settlement for this gentleman, an affordable settlement. We'll put in his vulnerabilities, we'll put in the letters, we'll ask for discounts, we'll see if we can get some of this wrote off. But if you willfully refuse to pay it, guys, you will go to prison. Have a great day, guys. Protect yourselves. Understand what's going on, because once the next round of cuts hit you guys, well then it's going to get pretty serious. Have a good day, guys. Take it easy. Bye bye.